Deep in the forest, a long way from anywhere, a short tarmacked road with one straight bit. Walikali, one of the busiest airstrips in Congo. They call this the Walikali Express. 15 or more planes in and out every day, pillaging $2 million worth of loot every week from a jungle outpost that's been at the heart of the world's deadliest conflict. Nearly 4 million dead in 8 years. Within 50 miles of here, 10 mines. In these sacks, the mineral everyone's after. A red rock, cassiterite, better known as tin ore, the most traded metal on the London Exchange. It's now used for electronic circuit boards, and prices have hit a 10-year high. Here, the battle is on for control of the mines and the trade. But we've been warned not to film soldiers. The UN's here, but they don't venture far from base. Peacekeepers have never set foot in the mines. Yet it's the plundered ore that fuels the conflict by buying more guns. Civilians continue to die, 1,000 a day. The crisis festers like a tropical ulcer.
There has been a lot of fighting in Walikali and it's affected everyone. During the war, they were all forced to flee into the jungle. And you can only imagine what it was like. No water, no food, no help. There were bad times.
Thousands of desperate people had abandoned their farms and fled to the mines, but few had come back. So what was keeping them out there in the jungle? The biggest mine, BCA, was said to be lawless and remote, 40 miles through the forest. Even Buto Muiso, the head of the government's mining division, had never been there. Like him, we wanted to find out who was in charge there and who was making the money. We were told we might reach BCA in 1 day, maybe 2. No Westerner has made this journey before. Throughout the trek, we were to catch fleeting glimpses of government soldiers making their way towards the mine. At BCA, we were told, they are the predators. This primary forest was for more than a decade infested by genocidal killers and half-starved militias, until they were routed by the Congolese army just a few months ago. The trail was rugged and arduous, but it's busy as a motorway. 4,000 porters ply this route, carrying sacks of rock heavier than they are. Each of their 50-kilogram packs of cassiterite is worth $400 on the world market. Government soldiers often force porters at gunpoint to carry the rocks free of charge. If they're lucky, though, they can make up to $5 a day. Prince was a merchant until the last marauding army burned and pillaged BCA and stole all he'd earned. Like everyone else, he had to start from scratch.
I'm exhausted. I am carrying 50 kilos. I have a wife and 2 children. But we don't earn much and we endure many hardships. Sometimes you end up with no pay at all. You could die along the way too. When you reach BCA, you will see the graves of porters like me.
Prince had already slept 1 night in the jungle. He had another 15 miles to go. If he was to make it to Walikali airstrip by sundown, he had to get moving. Other porters are eager to share their tales of hell. Hundreds, they told me, had been killed in the last bout of fighting at BCA between crazed militias I'd not even heard of. Not one of them knew their cassiterite was destined for the electronics industry in the rich world. One man claimed he knew. It goes to America, he said, to rebuild the Twin Towers and the Pentagon. The trail, unforgiving, wound on and on, up and down, for mile after endless mile through the humid forest. After 9 hours, we arrived at a jungle clearing, in which was a squalid encampment. We were still a long way short of BCA. So we're here in the jungle for the night, alongside all these cassiterite porters. and we're just putting up camp here. We passed hundreds of the porters on the trail today, all carrying their great big 50-kilogram sacks of rock. And I've got to say that the electronics industry for which their rocks are destined seems a million miles away from here. The dank air reeked of stale sweat and exhaustion. The porters ate their only meal of the day. It rained all night, but no one seemed to notice, for at Koba camp we sleep like the dead. At dawn, the Katikati porters moved on, and so did we. Late morning, an ambulance passes by. Too sick to walk, this woman faces 2 or 3 days on this porter's back before she reaches a small hospital only recently reopened by Médecins Sans Frontières. 5 hours into day 2, we stumble across a graveyard in the jungle, as Prince the porter had said we would. We knew we must be close to BCA. Here lay victims of war, starvation, overwork, malaria, typhus and cholera. By a river, the first signs of mining. We've been told there are around 6,000 miners here. At this point, the trail goes straight up. No one had seen the likes of us in these parts before. As we near the top, work stops as they gather to stare. In the absence of any mine management, government soldiers rule here by gun law.